Welcome to the Freud's Angels weekly reading, bringing the collective guidance and understanding for this week's energy.
Remember, never give your power up to a reader or a reading. You always have the power of autonomy. Welcome to your weekly reading. We are reading from June 8th to the 14th. It's my birthday week, y'all. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Birthdays were never a thing. Like I never was excited because birthdays were birthdays, but I don't know. This year I'm kind of like, it's my birthday.
I'm like, we know I'm the opposite. I'm
Yeah.
like yelling at my clients when they work on their birthdays, like, oh, you should celebrate yourself. You celebrate George Washington's birthday, celebrate yours. Like I get all up in arms, like you're the greatest gift on this earth. You should love that and celebrate it. I used to do birthday week, month, whatever, like, here's all the events. Show up at one of the 7 events I've planned for myself. Like, I love that I was born. And it's not about an ego. It's about like, man, I love my life. I love existing in this space with all these people.
Yeah. Yes. I have trauma therapy on my birthday. So that's a great thing. And I'm like, well, okay, it's a good thing because, she'll help me enjoy it. But
I'll tell you that is, I mean, as much as I do what I do for a living, that's one place you'll never find me on my birthday is therapy. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah. But it's helpful. So astrologically, there's a big thing happening. It's happening. I think I see it as a big thing because Jupiter has been in my sign for the last 12 months. I have had my Jupiter return. It's like year 12 to 13 months in each sign, and then it moves to the next one. So whenever Jupiter comes back into my sign, massive disruption happens. Let's see. So this year, I'm trying to think of all the things that happened. So it happened last year. So 2024. What's 24 minus 12? 12.
The best number ever.
So
hockey number.
Like mathing is not mathing today. So every single I can go back farther, but like the last time I had a Jupiter return, my familial situation imploded and my dad had to move in with me. And that was massive and disruptive. And there was loss and there was grief. And then before that was the year that I moved to Canada and like massive movements, like houses, like movement. I mean, Jupiter is detriment and it's in Gemini. And what that means is that it's not happy here. It's in its underworld a little bit. And so what happens is, and it's not that it's bad, but what happens is that I go through a massive transformation of something, of some way. Now, this year really has been the first time it's happened where I've worked with the energy purposefully, right? Because when it happened, I had decided to move to North Carolina last year, right? And so this whole year from then has been me uprooting myself, leaving, going through some trauma stuff, getting my trauma therapy team, all the things that are happening, the self-commitment, the things that I've been doing. I know it's disruptive, but I'm using the disruption in purpose, right? It's like having the Tower card and knowing the Tower card is there, knowing something is coming, but not fearing it, but being ready for it so you can take the action it's bringing to you. Yeah. And so when Jupiter moved into my sign, like it was already disruptive. Like a year ago today, like I was left at the airport with nowhere, coming here to scout places to live. And it was already being disruptive. And I knew that these were great changes. Now, it doesn't mean it made my year easy. It was not easy. But in the uncomfortableness and in the tears and the desperation and the depression and the sadness and the anger and rage that has come up, it was just compost for me and for my soil of growing and becoming. And so on June 9th, our friend Jupiter, the planet of luck, the planet of abundance, is moving into Cancer. It is in his exaltation in Cancer. Cancer is like one of its favorite places to be. And so what can we expect? first, look where Cancer is in what house is Cancer on your chart, right? So being Gemini rising, it is our second house, which I think is resources, money, family, money, resources, something. I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But so when it moves into Cancer on the 9th, know that for the next 13 months, that house, wherever Cancer is being highlighted. The sun is being poured into it. There's massive amounts of energy and manifestation energy in that house. So the more you take a look at it, the more you know what's happening, the more you can be intentional with using Jupiter's energy and moving forward. For Cancerians, like this is your year, like total, because it's in its exaltation, it like you can do anything. Any of us can do anything, but especially Cancerians. They are getting the green light for a lot of things, and it is going to be amazing. It is going to be good for them, but also, it's good for us. Everybody's going to get benefit from it. It's like when it's kind of like that sense of like there's so much sun that everybody gets touched with it. Everybody gets it. So wherever that is, find it, look at it, pour the intention into whatever house it is for you, and pour that intention for the healing and the abundance to show up in that place. And so just be super intentional with it this year. The magic that I created this last year, the transformation that I have been through, and the journey I have been on to where I am right now, and Vanessa can attest to this, the difference in who I am right now versus 1 year ago.
We were just talking about it in the pregame. It was like a year ago. Whoa.
I know.
And we were, yeah.
So I have more connection to happiness, to joy. I do things just for myself and for pleasure. Am I still triggered? Yep. Do I still experience uncontrollable rage sometimes? Yep. But I have the resources, I have the knowledge, and I have the steadiness within me to work through those things. And because of that, I feel less like I'm on a sinking ship.
Yeah.
Or that I'm on a raft out there, like in whatever movie that was. God, what was that movie? Castaway, I think it was, with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I'm less like being on the raft in the middle of the ocean and not knowing what wave is going to take me over. That's the difference. Now, it doesn't mean it's easy, but I'm telling you what, on the 9th, celebrate, do whatever you need to do, light a green candle, light some, do a money spell, do some whatever it is that you do to make yourself abundant, and connect to it and intentionally bring that energy into you, and work with it all year, because it will make life change, and it's in a good place. So it's going to be for the better. It's going to be less disruptive, like Gemini and Jupiter together. It's going to be more ease and grace, right? So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Jupiter.
Yeah. On June 9th, I will be recovering from playing a billion hockey games. So I'll have plenty. I'll have no choice but to sit. While there's work, I'm going to be.
She'll have an abundance of like electrolytes and deep relief, and
yes, my heating pad and or ice, whatever. But yeah, that's great news, though, that at least it'll be, just a shift in energy that feels a little bit more like, less underworld, more.
Yeah.
The Libra air sign really just wants this I want lightness. God damn it.
Well, and you've experienced it too, because your natal Jupiter may not be in Gemini, but having Jupiter in your rising sign is pretty impactful.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. I mean, but it makes sense. Well, and also what makes sense is what the mermaids had to say today, because I've been like just sitting here like just I can't wait until Grace sees what we're talking about. It's the memories card. And so, sometimes when the memories card comes out, it's sad, right? And it's like, oh, memories. And I would be lying if I said when I first looked at it, I was like, ugh, right? Like gut punch, because, I've been in my memories, my recent memories a little bit lately, but feels like it's a positive thing, like that looking into our memories right now is the good kind of grave digging. So like my clients that are in relationships or the couples that I work with, we talk about grave digging and we talk about not doing it in the negative way because it's not helpful, but doing it in the positive way is super helpful, right? And we forget to do it and we need to do it often, right? Like with being able to know where we came from, being able to really look at what progress has actually happened, because that's so difficult to do. Last night when I like there's a big break. There's no hockey for days now. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do without sports on the TV at night? Right. Like, and so I was just sitting in this room and my office / Zen room, I guess for now. And I was just kind of looking around and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that I created this. Like it was just a moment of that. And I just sat with where I was before I came here and how the contrast is ginormous, right? Like the things, but I had to sit and do that because otherwise it's just day to day to day to day, right? And you're looking forward and you're saying, oh, I still got this to do and I'm still not there. And, just really in the moment sometimes isn't where we need to be in order to move forward or feel grateful. Sometimes we do have to be in the past to feel that gratitude, to really see where we came from. I do it with my clients all the time, right? Where I'm like, do you remember where you were 2 years ago? Because I remember, because I got to watch this movie play out, and we do that very often of being like, how would you have handled that last year? And they're like, oh, not at all. I'm like, yeah, like, so right now when you're struggling, just remember that you used to avoid it completely and you would have never moved through this. So like, thank yourself for everything that that you've provided for yourself to be able to be in this moment today. Right. And so that was what I was doing last night, of being like, oh man, like just remember all of the things you were doing that were to your detriment and all of the belief systems you were holding on to that were really getting in your way of feeling what you're feeling right now, which is immense gratitude, a lot of awe, and so much comfort, right? Like so much, and knowing that there's more to come, and so yeah, I feel like the memories card is coming out to actually tell you to go backwards and look at your progress. I mean, if that progress came with this card today, when in my mind, when I looked at it, that it's not just about going back and looking at memories for the sake of memories. It's to go back and remind you of your power and your journey and your progress, no matter what that is. Some people will say, I don't want to look at my progress because I'm not where I want to be. That's fine. You need to look back and see that you have progressed so that you can have hope for the future of progressing also.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo! Doing it.
On fire. Because it hurt a little bit at first. I was like, I'm never going to get what I want. And I was like, oh my God, like, really? Can you look around at what you wanted and got? Like, dude, chill.
Right. Oh my God.
What are we surrendering in addition to this memory situation?
Negative thinking. This is the card that I said last week, because we batch record sometimes these readings. And so last week I said, yeah, because Vanessa had a card that popped out and was like, oh, and it kept popping out. And I'm like, yeah, this is the one that kept popping out. I'm like, no, that's not the card. And I put it back in, and sure enough, fell out like 2 minutes later. And I'm like, fuck. Okay.
Ooh, I love it.
Yes. So you have control of your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. I think what Vanessa just shared is so important, because it's not even so much she basically is rewriting the way she looks at shit, right? It's that idea of switching our brain from the negative bias, seeing what we don't have, the things that we don't, whatever, and looking at what has happened, the good things, like how far we have come, the healing, the what we have accomplished. And yes, it may not be this one thing that we don't see we have, but we have all of these other things. And when we help our brain retrain our brain to look at positive bias, which is really hard because it's naturally negative bias, because to keep us safe, right? You know, when there's tigers and bears, they're like, run, everything's a threat. But when we
Yeah.
can look at things through lenses of joy, like I mean, what I shared earlier about my journey, like I could have completely looked at this last year and been like, fuck, it
Yeah.
sucked. Like, look at all the hardship. Look at all that I experienced. Look at all the sadness. Look at all the depression. Look at all the things that happened to me. But
Mhm.
instead, I'm like, no, I understand their purpose. I understand what they were here to say, tell me. I opened the door to hearing what they had to say. And even moments where there was no excuse for the events that happened and the things that people did, how I handled it was my part of creating whether that was going to continue being traumatic or whether I could have come back out of that and say, you know what? Nope, we took care of it. I was available and took care of it for myself, right? I wasn't and so there's this reframe that happens. And why do we do this? Why? Because when you're looking at all the things that you don't have or didn't accomplish, how does that motivate you to accomplish them? It doesn't. Maybe short term,
Yeah.
maybe for a moment. It's like
I
using
totally think it
anger
does.
and resentment or spite or whatever to fuel you to make changes. It's not lasting. It's not long term. It's
Mhm.
only in the moment. And then you feel like you failed because you couldn't keep going. So when we train ourselves to kind of go into the positive bias, right? We go into the think of it doesn't mean that we don't feel the suckiness. What it means is we understand there's purpose in the suckiness. It's telling us that something is wrong. I woke up rageful today, man. I yelled at my cat. I don't yell at my cat. It is the one thing that one rule that I don't have is that I don't yell at her because she is a sentient being and she doesn't deserve to be yelled at. She doesn't do things because she's being mean. She does them because she's a cat. She's not a human and I can't expect her to act like one. And so the fact that I got up and yelled at my cat, it was like at first, like I just wanted, you want to stay in the right. But I was like, girl, what is happening? Why am I disruptive? Why am I so angry? What is
Mhm.
the anger telling me? There's an imbalance somewhere.
Mhm.
Somebody's being hurt. There's a wounding that the anger is protecting. And so when I'm angry, sometimes when I'm angry, it's legit injustice to the world, how people are treated. That's anger because I'm like, that's wrong. It's morally wrong, right? But when I'm angry for no provocation other than I just woke up, granted it was 4 a.m., 3 a.m., but whatever.
Yeah, that
And
pissed me off right away looking at the clock. Like, nope.
but I was like, there is something underneath this that is wounded and that is hurting, and I need to tend to it. And so rather than being angry at the anger and being and grouchy and I was like, hmm, okay. I'm like, what's happening? Why are we upset? What are you feeling? What is the imbalance that's happening right now? And then it showed up, and then I could take action and take care of it in the way that I could, right? That's the difference, right? Had I be just grouchy, I never would have offered the healing that part that her wounding needed in that moment, or taken action to be available to that wounding so that it didn't feel I didn't care. And so that's kind of some of the purpose of why we switch our mindset to less of the negative bias and more into the positive bias.
Yeah, it feels like like alchemy just kept coming to my brain, like alchemizing, right? Like because we're taking something and using it. We're not denying it or throwing it in a box or saying just judging it negatively. We're using it, right? Like for whatever it is that we can use it for that improves our lives, and we all have the opportunity to do it. I mean, I remember how gaslighty that felt before I understood it, of just being like, no, everything doesn't happen for a reason and I can't find purpose in it. And now I'm like, oh shit, it's true. Like it is a choice. It is a choice that I make. I can be in the negative feeling for a while. I can do it, but there is always going to be an opportunity if I take it to alchemize it into something that I can improve something with, whatever it is. It could be for somebody else or it could be for myself. But like you were saying, if it's injustice, there might be something I can do for somebody else. And that would be alchemizing my anger of injustice, right? Like using it instead of letting it eat me up, right? Like just that alchemy, that magic that we have the opportunity to make out of any energy that we feel, if we so choose. And we don't have to choose it, but we have the option.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm.
Our money card is a very Jupiter money card. I'm supported in my success. Yes. So take it, own it this week. Bask in Jupiter's brightness. And yeah, have a good week, y'all. I am going to have the best week because it is my
Yes,
birthday.
you are.
I'm just putting that out there now. It's, a week beforehand, but I'm still putting it out there because I'm going to have the best week in whatever way that shows up. So,
oh yeah,
we love you and we will see you next week. And don't forget to catch our podcast on Wednesday. We're talking to Karen Crehan Sayago. She is the author of Toxic Relationships. She has 2 books out. A new one just came out. It's amazing. We're talking to her. We're connecting. Please join us. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, love y'all. Thanks for listening.
We hope we gave you something to support your journey.
Check out our Facebook or Instagram page to connect with us.
Have a great week.